Consulting. The full meaning of TPM is Tourism Plus Management Consulting. So thank you as I hand over to Captain Emmanuel. Captain, over to you.
All right. Welcome on board, everyone. And it's my pleasure to be your moderator today. So we're going to be kicking off as the host of today's webinar, as actually said. And I'm so happy that you are all here. So welcome on board again to all our panelists and all participants. We are still expecting more participants to join us. And it's very cool to have Africa joining and connecting with us today. Let me also use this time to appreciate the presence of another very important speaker who is also joining us today in the house.
Sorry, Captain, there is a very bad echo from your side. Oh, I don't know if it's you, but can people maybe mute their microphone? It's really bad.
Okay. All participants have been muted now. So as they sound now, Didier?
Much better. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as I was saying, I'd like to quickly acknowledge the presence of someone who is also in the house, a tourism stakeholder with us here in Nigeria. So please, house, join me to appreciate the presence and the participation of the president of the Institute of Tourism Professionals of Nigeria, ITPN, in person of Chief Abiodun Odusonwo. Chief Abiodun Odusonwo, thank you very much for joining us today. All right, sir. So as we are all gathered here today, we all know why we are here. And I want to believe that every one of us, we are definitely here to supply understanding, knowledge, and then most importantly, give our perspective on the topic of discussion for today. So I will be receiving first of all on the panel today, my own very friend, and someone who is also a co-moderator and a boss in the industry. I call him the Prince of Africa because this guy, you know, has Africa at his fingertips, can just mobilize Africa together. And this person has been with me on the editions of the TBS post-COVID-19 recovery webinars that we just wrapped up this month. So House, join me today as the first panel speaker to tell us on what his own destination is doing as far as standard products and service delivery is concerned for post-COVID-19 tourism. Let us receive with a warm round of applause Didier Bayeye, who is the marketing manager for Africa and India Oceans for Sun International from South Africa. Automatically, he is the only representative of South Africa on this platform, but I know he is more than capable to represent South Africa on this webinar. So Didier Bayeye, the floor is yours, and you have just 5 minutes to give us your presentation because we have a whole lot of panelists on the board. Thank you very much, Didier. You have the floor.
Good morning, Africa, and for those in East Africa and the islands, good afternoon already because it's 12 and East Africa time and 1 p.m. in Mauritius and other islands. So for the rest of Africa, good morning. Thanks, Captain, for the opportunity. I greet you all, fellow panelists and trade industry. Because I only have 5 minutes, I wouldn't be able to mention everybody's name, but it is my pleasure to be here and to share this platform with you and brainstorm and exchange ideas as we always do. Well, Captain, we had some meeting in the course of the week, and we actually start realizing: do we even have to talk of post-COVID-19, or we should just start talking of during COVID-19? Because we believe now COVID-19 is here to stay, as far as I know. So it looks like the post is still a very, very long time to come. So the language should start changing to not during posts, because the post is, we have not seen the dawn of the post yet. So it is during COVID-19. We need to adjust ourselves accordingly. This is just the reality we are facing right now as an industry, as a continent, as a sector, and most of all as human being. Well, considering the current situation that we are facing as human being first, before even the industry, we all realize that we need to adjust around the COVID-19. So COVID-19 has become part of us. Just like the sun, we know when it's too hot, we dress a bit light. When it's very cold, we dress warm. This is what we need to do, and the industry needs to adjust accordingly. In South Africa and in many other more hotel groups and hotel chains, what has been happening is the preparedness, the state of preparedness. As much as we get to understand and agree that the lockdown is not to eradicate COVID-19, but is for the state of preparedness to allow countries to have measures into place to deal with the situation, to deal with the pandemic. So in the meantime, also we understand we cannot lock ourselves away forever or for way too long. Just to give you an idea, South Africa alone has revenue of 130 billion rands per annum from the tourism sector. And you understand that this is a lot. This represents something like $9 billion per annum. And as we speak, the country has already lost 68 billion of the 130 billion from the time the lockdown happened. So we start putting pressure to the country, but through many platforms to many governments within the continent to um, ease the restrictions so that the industry can still make up of the little that's left. But having said that, we cannot continue. It can't just be business as usual. So what we are doing as a country is to put measures in place of sanitization, to sanitize establishments, of accommodations, from hotels, guest houses, resorts, all being completely sanitized. We having the sanitization stations at the main entrance of every resort, including the temperature scan to scan guests or every staff that is coming through the hotel or the resort. Every staff of the hotel is being taken through the COVID-19 training, how to handle it, because this thing is here. People, we need to work in the organizations, in the establishment, in the hotel, in the transport. So they need to be equipped. Knowledge is the key. People need to be equipped how to protect themselves and how also to protect others. What people need to know. The other time I said that um, generally in this industry, when we're talking of destination, people will look at many what a destination has to offer. What is so special about that establishment, about that property, about that resort, about that hotel? But today, the one of the top priority travelers could be looking at would be what are the safety measures, the compliance in relations to the COVID-19 that this establishment has put into place, where I'm going to stay, what do they have in place? This will become critical. And as a partner in the sector, we'd like really to appeal to everybody else to do the same, to introduce the COVID-19 training and to have people on the ground understanding what to do to protect themselves and then what to do to protect others. We have implemented, or we a lot of hotels are implementing the contactless or touchless transactions, whereby people then are encouraged to use more their card. And then now you don't even need to insert or swipe and put in the password, where you just need to tap your card and the payment is processed to the machine without giving it to the person behind the counter to process the payment. More of touchless service and situations, sanitizations in the rooms. What we're saying also is that the government has implemented, has put into place measures for schools to go back in different stages. And we have used this as a drive for the travel industry as well. If kids can go back to school by implementing such measures, where they get temperature scan every morning, where they get the whole institution is sanitized, and they carry their own hand sanitization and wearing of mask. This can be implemented, but we even see that in the travel industry, in the hotels, for example, is much better, because we can only have a maximum of 2 people in one room, in exception, of course, of the many family rooms or other we know configurations that might differ. But generally we have either one person or two in a room. So, and ideally people sit, if there's 2 people, this is a couple or people coming from the same place sharing together. But in normal circumstances, rooms are actually already in compliance with the social distancing that is required for the post-COVID, for the COVID-19. And when people go for either breakfast or dinner, if they are not together, we see people picking the tables that's not occupied. So we can see that it's possible for the hospitality industry, for the tourism industry, to start already launching and picking from the little that's left out of this year. So these are the measures. For lack of time for now, I'll have to stop there. But the contactless, touchless service, sanitization of their whole properties. Every entrance has the sanitization station. Every individual moving around is required to wear a mask, as we all know that COVID-19 is not airborne, but is passed from one person to another through human contact. So if humans are safe, the place will also be safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Didier Baye, all the way from South Africa. I could pick some very important points from what you just said. And the one that actually got me really, because I'm a trainer, is the fact that every staff of your property has gone through a mandatory COVID-19 training. And that's very commendable. That's very commendable. And then you also mentioned about the contactless mode of operation going forward. Thank you very much, DJ. Right now, we're going to move from Southern Africa. We're going to cross this continent over to Eastern Africa. And then my next panel speaker will be from Kenya. This is very interesting because we're going to be cross-cutting continents of Africa today. So, House, before I call in on my next panel speaker, I want to quickly inform you that we are streaming this particular webinar live on YouTube, and very shortly we will be sharing the YouTube link in the chat room. So in case you have any person who would want them to connect to this webinar, probably they are having issues connecting on Zoom, you might want to send them the YouTube link so that they can connect with us live. So having said that, I will want to bring on board this panel the managing director of Go Places Africa DMC, all the way from Kenya, Mr. Hussein Jiwani. Mr. Hussein Jiwani, would like to have your thoughts on the precautionary measures and your preparedness towards your own standard product and service delivery at Go Places Africa. Mr. Hussein Jiwani, you have the floor.
Hi everyone. Welcome from magical Kenya. Yeah, so basically, Go Places Africa, DMC, we've been in the industry for over 20 years. We've been promoting travel to the East African region, where we specialize, of course, in leisure as well as MICE and destination weddings. Basically, I mean, we focus on Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and we'll be soon starting Ethiopia as well. So yes, I mean, of course, the way COVID-19 has, affected the tourism industry, majorly as one of the biggest industries that has been affected because of, clients not being able to travel. But slowly but surely, what information has already been shared is that this COVID is something that is here to stay for a while, and we have to put in some protocols and of course some. We have to operate in a different way to be able to receive our different clients from all over the world. So basically, with Go Places, what we have done is, as a tour operator, we have made sure that all our staff will continue to be tested on a regular basis. They'll be, of course, practicing social distancing. We'll be having only, like for our Safari Land Cruisers, we're going to have a minimum of four passengers per vehicle. So we can, of course, practice the social distancing. Our drivers will all be wearing their masks. There'll be constant sanitizing the drivers will constantly be sanitizing the vehicles as well. We're going to be working together with the hotels that have been certified and have gone through a inspection by the Ministry of Health. And those are the only hotels that we are going to be working with. Our main priority is to make sure that our staff and our clients are safe, and we have to create a comfortable environment for our clients and our staff. So these are some of the things that we're doing. We've also started to do a welcome pack for our clients as well. So once travel resumes, the welcome pack is going to be a pouch which they can tie around their waist. And within the welcome pack, they'll have their own sanitizers, their masks, their gloves. So it's easy for them to access throughout their safari or throughout their beach holidays. We've been working closely with the West African market, and we've seen that not necessarily have there been the safari activities have been a popular activity for the West African market, but they really love the beach. So it's nice to also see, Jeff here from, Swahili Beach and my colleague, and we're looking forward to welcoming clients to magical Kenya very soon. Currently, we're looking at Kenya Airways released a statement just this week that they're looking at from the 14th of July. They're looking at resuming their domestic and international flights. I'm not sure if the international flights will be resumed by then, but I think the domestic will start off first to see how the situation is, and slowly. So I'm looking at, realistically, we're looking at probably by September the international flights will start resuming. Yeah.
Mr. Giovanni, thank you very much for that information. I personally like your closing statement, giving us a specific time that you think you're going to open up, September. Mr. Giovanni, you have a lot of fans on this platform, because right now the chat room is really very busy, and someone said here that they are seeing you everywhere all over the world. Okay. So that means it was a very big one for TPM Consulting to have you on this platform. Definitely, we're going to come back to you to ask you certain questions about Go Places Africa. But right now, I would like to cross over to another part of Africa, and this time around, I will be. I don't want to stay in East Africa. Okay, I would like to cross over and come back home to Nigeria, and then right now, I would like to have Our Excellency and our boss as tour operators and travel agencies in Nigeria, Madam Susan Akporiaye, the one and only national president of the Nigerian National Association of Nigerian Travel Agencies, Madam Susan Akporiaye. The floor is yours. I wanted to tell participants the preparedness of destinations in Nigeria. I am aware you being a panelist, mostly in fact a host already on the TBS webinars that you have graced us your presence. I know you are a very powerful advocate of domestic tourism in Nigeria. Now, looking at the particular topic of discussion today, the precautionary measures and preparedness to standard products. Just like Mr. Didier said and Mr. Giovanni, are Nigerian travel agencies and tour operators ready to receive tourists? And if they are, what is the level of preparedness? Madam Susan?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Welcome.
DJ, good to see you
Good
again.
to see you too,
Captain
Madam
Emmanuel,
Susan.
thank you.
Always a
Ambassador
pleasure.
Kayode, everybody. Go Places.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, Go Places. Nice to see you and every other person here. Mohammed, I can see you. Thank you so much. Yes, going to the topic because we have just 5 minutes. Just like Didier said, I'm going to try my best. But just like every other country, actually, the realization of the fact that we have to look inwards is dawning on us too in Nigeria. If there's anything we have not, that we probably were overlooking, COVID-19 has given us the opportunity to start looking at those areas we probably have ignored. For the preparedness of the operators in the industry, I can say we are prepared to some extent. Like Didier said, we are also engaging ourselves in training because information is power. Some people think money is power, but it's not. Information, you might have all the money, but if you are not well informed, the money is just going to go down the drain. So what we are doing, nobody at this time can say they're 100% prepared. Everybody is preparing. That's the word. We are preparing. Like Didier said, we're not going to be talking about post-COVID anymore. We are still in COVID. So it's what are we doing in this COVID season? So the travel agency community as a whole, we are preparing. And we want to also thank our government because we've been clamoring to be involved, for the government to involve us, to engage us in their discussion and the level of their preparedness. And I'm happy to say that has been obliged. We've been obliged that request. We've made that request and the government has given us that request, given us the opportunity. So as we speak, the travel agency community are part of the committee that are discussing safety measures. And I can say, since we became part of it, it has made me more informed of the level of our preparedness. And for us in Nigeria, we were supposed to have opened on the 21st of June. And I guess why that was not possible is because they were probably not involved, the private sector, which is we all along. But immediately they got us involved, we now understood the reason why they had to shift the resumption of the airport for 21st. We found out that there's still a lot of things that needed to be done. Not that they are not aware of those things, but you know, sometimes man proposes, God disposes. Some things they had initially planned didn't go the way they planned it. What I can say, all hands are on deck, seriously working. And I think I'm proud of my aviation team, the NCAA, National Civil Aviation Authority, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. I'm proud of them. They have a lot of things in place. This shows that the DG is really a round peg in a round hole. Not until he got us involved, we began to see the level of their planning, where they have gone, what they have gone, and what they are yet to achieve. And we were able to make one or two inputs of some areas we felt attention was not paid, serious attention was not paid on it. And they promised us that they will look into it and also incorporate that. So for the travel agency community, we are prepared, and we are preparing ourselves. We are equipping ourselves with information. We are
Seems we lost Madam Susan. Madam Susan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. We have 2 minutes more to wrap it up.
Okay, so what we are doing in the travel agency community right now is so that when the airways are open, the airports are open. We all know that even when the airport is open, it's going to be local for now, like Go Places said. The international might not kick off, so the locals will be open. We don't know how long before the international comes on board, but we tell ourselves as long as the local is open, we will see what we can do within that range, of course, with the safety measures in place. So we are going through training too, like Didier said. We are getting our members all fully trained on the new trend of things, the way things need to be done, so that they can in turn better inform their clients. And also in the industry as a whole, I got a video from the event, from the Association of Event Makers, of their own level of preparedness too. They had a video simulation of how event centers generally are prepared. They are fully prepared. They are telling us that they are fully prepared. They send the video to the travel agency community because we are the ones that will bring the product to them to show us. And I'm quite impressed. We are quite impressed of the level of their preparedness. So also every other part of the industry as a whole. So thank you very much, Captain Emmanuel. That is where we are in Nigeria. We are fully aware of what is going on, and we know that it's not going to be business as usual. So we are getting ourselves equipped and trained. Very important. Like Emmanuel said, I'm also a trainer. Apart from a travel agent, I'm also a trainer by profession. So I don't take my training. I don't take my training as a joke. It's serious business for me, and that is what we are doing for the travel agency community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Susan. It's so wonderful. Every time I hear your voice, something happens to me. I can feel that passion, the fire that with which you are actually burning. So I need to let you know that that fire is really, really igniting and inspiring a whole lot of people. And we need more of that fire. And I'm very, very sure that that passion is there. It's not going to die out. So keep lighting that fire, Madam Susan. And right now, to bring in the next speaker, I will want to bring on board today the particular host and organizer of this webinar, Ambassador Kayode Adeshola, founder and CEO of TPM Consulting. Ambassador, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Captain Emmanuel. And once again, thank you everybody for honoring this invitation. So the next panelist that I'm going to call to come on board and speak to us is my new friend I just discovered through webinar. I think about 2 weeks ago, he hosted a webinar which I was a guest on, and is no other person than Mr. Ivan Mustafa. Is the Executive Director of Travel Destination Online. Mr. Ivan, are you here with us?
Yes, of course, I'm in Africa.
Okay, you are welcome, sir. Yes, sir. As you have been listening, sir, what we are discussing here this morning today is the precautionary measure, our preparedness towards the products we have, the services we have planned to render to our numerous tourists all over Africa, all over the world. How prepared is travel destination online to make sure that you deliver such services to the tourists? You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody. Travel destination online is like a Dubai-based DMC, and we have our offices worldwide. We have our offices in almost 16 countries, and we are covering all the global. So we have different precautions worldwide, depending on the countries. Like we are as in our discussion, as Madam Suzanne said, information is a power. So this is what we are doing from last 4 months. Time to time, we are discussing with you, with our different partners, with our Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, all different partners. Time to time, we are sharing our new updates with them. And Dubai, as far as concerned, Dubai is ready now. From today, Dubai is ready. Dubai have opened tourist visa from today, and Dubai have taken up the restriction of the timing. Before we was having a restriction of the timing up to 10 p.m. From 6 a.m. up to 10 p.m. we can be outside to do our jobs, and from today onwards they have removed all the timing restrictions. There is no timing restriction in Dubai now. Dubai have opened the tourist visas from today. Dubai airports are open for all international flights from today. And so the reason Dubai have come up is because of their, they was very keen because as everybody is aware, Dubai main revenue is tourism. And Dubai have done a tremendous job to overcome this COVID-19, which have given everybody globally a big stress, and it will not be over unless we will not get a proper vaccine. So now we should understand we have to live with it. But Dubai, they have opened everything, but they have opened everything with lot of safety measures. And like, let us start from the entering in Dubai. When anybody will enter to Dubai, first they have to come up with two things now. They have to come up with the medical insurance. They have to come up with the COVID-19 negative certificate. Then only they will they will be given a boarding card from any part of the world. Okay, if it is positive, they will not take the passenger in a flight. Yes, if they are positive but they don't have symptoms at the time of boarding, then they will allow them to come. When they will reach to Dubai airport, then again PCR test will be there for the person, and if it is negative, they can enjoy Dubai, but with the safety measures like mask, gloves, they have to wear. And if they will be tested positive, so then they have to go for quarantine for 14 days at the expense of their own. Dubai have done safety measurements in all the hotels. Till you will enter the hotel, your temperature will be checked, and you will enter any part of the hotel. Like you will go to restaurant, you will go to gym, you will go to pool, your temperature will be checked. So it means we are on a check in every step in Dubai now. Even beaches are open in Dubai, and even you can't enter inside the beach unless you not take temperature. So they have now one entrance to enter in the beach, and they have people who are going to check your temperature, symptoms. Same they have done now 100% occupancy allowed in gym also, but to enter in the gym, they are going to take the safety measurement. They are going to check the same temperature. When shopping malls, in short, because I have a very short time, 5 minutes. In short, we can't enter anywhere in Dubai unless your so Dubai is open now for the tourism, but we are looking forward for our flight information from our partners worldwide, from the African countries also. And especially as I'm in discussion with Madam Suzanne also and with the Vice President also, that we are very keen to send our clients to all the African countries. We are not looking only for the inbound for Dubai and our other destinations we have offices. We are very keen to do inbound for all the African countries, and we are looking for the safety measurement, and we are looking for the flights when we are going to resume, and we are doing a lot of homework on inbound to African countries, and we are ready. Our clients are ready. Only we are waiting for the safety measurements. And the second thing which everybody asked me, unless I didn't travel 2 years back to African countries, I was also not aware. Everybody asks what is the security. They ask us two things when we are traveling to Africa. They ask us security and what is the conditions and what to see in Africa. So now from last 2 years, we are promoting African countries and for good news from the African as far as the security is concerned and concerned, and we are looking forward to come to Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. I'm so glad that you are interested in promoting Africa Inbound. DJ Baye, Madam Susan, I hope you had the clarion call from Mr. Ivan saying that two things on his mind about Africa destinations, security, and then the precautionary measures. And Mr. Ifan, I think you must have heard what DJ Baye have said concerning South Africa. They have been doing COVID-19 trainings for all their staff. South Africa is ready. And Madam Susan, there are questions for you here on the chat room, but we are not going to take questions now until all the speakers have spoken. So thank you very much to all our panelists that have spoken so far. And then I will give the floor now to our host for this webinar, Ambassador Coyote of TPM Consulting, to bring in the next speaker. Ambassador Coyote, the floor is yours, sir. Ambassador, are you with us? Okay, seems it's not in the house. So join me to go back to East Africa right now, and let's bring in on board another DMC from Uganda this time around in Eastern Africa, Mr. Edwin Mozahura. Mr. Edwin, are you in the house? Not yet in the house. Okay. Definitely, we have a whole lot of panel members on the list today, and then I'm going to be picking up on someone else. Can we have Mr. Jeff Mukowi of Swahili Beach Resort? Is he still with us?
Jumbo, everyone. Jumbo, all the panelists.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I hope you can all hear me very well.
Yes, we can hear you. It seems to be a little bit of a echo, but
give me a thumbs up if you can hear me very well. Good. My name is Jeff Mupolwe. I'm the general manager of a 5-star resort in Diani on the southern part of the Kenyan coast by the name of Swahili Beach Resort. Swahili Beach Resort is a 10-year-old property, one of the newest properties and one of only 4 5-star properties on the Kenyan coast. Not a very big property, 20 acres, 140 rooms. We deal primarily with leisure and luxury tourism. We're a top-end facility, as Hussein, who knows us very well, will allude to, and a few others who've been here. A lot of the information about the hotel you can find on our website. I don't want to take up too much time, as much as I will not also want to take up too much time discussing preparedness, because I think from Didier representing hospitality to Hussein to Susan, all mentioned generally, and Irfan, all mentioned generally what the entire world is doing. I think one thing that we need to all remember as hospitality practitioners is that infection prevention and control is nothing new to us. We've been doing this for ages. I have in my office files of requirements, either from the national government here, from the county government, from the tourism operators in Europe. We have to follow and abide by European standards. So infection control and prevention really is nothing new to us. We've been doing this for ages. What's happening now is we are only adjusting and adding on a new infection, which is the COVID-19, and adding on protocols onto already what we've been doing. Social distancing wasn't there before, the whole wearing of masks idea and so on. So we're just adjusting. We really shouldn't be, as a hospitality industry, really shouldn't be too worried about what we're doing, because we already were doing it anyway. And a lot of the aviation guys will tell you that even they have been doing a lot in their cabins to keep their cabins sanitized. We're just adding on to what we already have been doing. I think, and you'll allow me, Captain Emmanuel and Ambassador Kayode, to steer the conversation a bit, because with all the African players here, I think one of the things that at the end of this conversation that we should be having is how this session is going to start a new revolution. And I was glad to hear Irfan say that you're already concentrating on Africa. A new revolution, and Susan also mentioned this, where we start to think inward. Right, we've gone through the entire progression of where we are in terms of one. We went down Kenya right now, a bit of a restricted opening. After that, we shall go into local reopening, and then domestic reopening, continental reopening, and global reopening. None of us know for sure when we shall get to the last one, which is the global reopening. It will take 2 months, it will take a year.
I didn't need dilution.
As we are right now on the restricted reopening part, we have a few restaurants open, very few, if at all any, hotels open, at least in Kenya. The Kenya government has already released protocols required by standalone restaurants and hotels, which we have already put in place. The training has already started. A lot of what needs to be done will be put in place. And these protocols are international. All the countries of the world are more or less following the same protocols. There is nothing that one knows that the other one doesn't know. The only thing is that we shall customize the protocols to meet our own individual or country-wide needs. But quite frankly, all these protocols are being shared worldwide. Nobody has a competitive advantage by having these protocols in place. They are necessary, and I don't mean to diminish them. But I think, Captain and Ambassador, we then need to start thinking about, and especially as hospitality players, all the DMCs on board here, we need to start thinking, what next after this? We've put the protocols in place, we've gotten all the certification, we are open for business. What next after that? So somebody mentioned some time back and said, all companies now, and especially all of us, have to start thinking like we are startups. All right, that everything we are doing now is brand new in terms of our marketing strategies, our sales strategies, and so on. So what next? We are open, we have all the protocols in place. There are countrywide protocols, there are national protocols, hotel protocols, we are all open. Then what? What happens after that? And if I may be allowed to then steer the conversation in that direction, that would be great. Otherwise, we'll be talking about the same protocols for each speaker. So we are thinking our next point for us now is we're assuming that we will be open. We don't know when that will be. The national government will decide that. But when that happens, what's our first step? And the first step for us will be, at least for us as Swahili Beach Resort, will be to look internally and say, what is there within Kenya that we can attract, the local domestic tourism that we can attract. Guys like Hussein will be a great help for us in this one, because again, you know, within the different stages of lockdown, the restricted and the local reopening, flights even within the region are not operational yet. But we do expect that with the local reopening, domestic flights will be up and about as soon as possible. I think Hussein mentioned early July, if I'm not wrong. So then the first step for us will be, how do we then start to attract this local domestic tourism? What will be their needs? Will it be pricing? What will that be all about? The next step will then be the continental reopening, or even regional reopening, where flights will be allowed to start going within the region. And for our region here, East Africa, I know the East Africa community is developing protocols for movement within East Africa. I don't know how wide those will go, but I know that is being discussed as we speak. So the next level will be, will there be travel allowed within East Africa? If that's the case, then we'll be looking to go into Uganda, we'll be looking to go into Rwanda, Ethiopia, Tanzania, and so on and so forth, and start getting business out of this. The next level will then be the continental reopening, where we shall have flights starting to go as far as South Africa, Nigeria, and then we have in place, we have discussions with my team already, and we're already thinking about how we will be going into Nigeria. So all the Nigerian travel agents on board here will be reaching out to you to see how we can go into Nigeria, how we can go into South Africa, to start getting that tourism flowing in our direction, but at the same time getting tourism out of Kenya flowing in your direction. And the last phase, of course, will be the global reopening. That phase we don't know yet. I've been speaking to tour operators in Europe, in the US, and many of them don't know yet. But I can tell you one thing that I have had consistently, especially from the tour operators in Europe and in the US, that even with the reopening of Africa, there will be a lot of reluctance for travel into Africa from Europe and the US. I'm not using, this is not gospel, but from conversations I've been having, this is what I'm hearing. What is the reason for this? Africa is not yet necessarily trusted that the numbers that are coming out of Africa are either correct or that testing is being done properly. So you'll begin to see what's already happening in Europe. Europe is opening up, Spain is opening up only to Europe, and European countries, and so on and so forth. So we need to start thinking in time. We need to start thinking from the domestic level to the regional level to the continent level. And I really like to praise you, Captain and Ambassador, for this forum, because this should be the start of this discussion. You know, we have all of you from Africa here. We need to start discussing how to support each other, how Hussein Jiwani can use his platform, which is a fantastic and great platform, to get Kenyans to travel within the continent, how the rest of you DMCs in South Africa, in Nigeria, can use your platforms to get tourists into Kenya, and so on and so forth. So I'm sorry if I've taken over and you know, just kind of like twisted the direction of the.
You've taken our time, but you have very important points, so I would like to finish in 2 minutes.
Say again, sorry, I didn't get that.
You've taken our time already, but you've hit on very important points, so I'll give you 2 minutes to wrap up your thoughts. Thank you very much.
I'm generally done, and basically that's what I wanted to say. So just to go back to the beginning, in terms of protocols for hygiene and safety, so these protocols are available. They're available. The Kenyan protocols I've just seen on the chat group. Hussein will share this with anybody who's interested in getting them. They are quite detailed, but I know for a fact as a hotelier for more than 20 years, we have been having infection control and prevention protocols going on forever. So we know this, we just need to add on what COVID has brought on board, and we're ready to go. So thank you very much for allowing me that opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jeff, for bringing that particular discussion concerning promoting Africans for Africans. And before I say anything on that, I'd like to first of all bring in the host of this webinar, Ambassador Kayode, to quickly respond to that call, because you just called out myself and the ambassador. Ambassador Kayode, You want to say
thank,
something concerning Mr. Jeff's
thank you. Thank you, Captain. I appreciate every one of us that has spoken. Mr. Jeff, thank you very much. And I could hear Mr. Ivan when he was making his presentation that we should direct the discussion of today towards Africa destination. Yes, that is the very purpose of this webinar. Our focus is on Africa. Our focus is on Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Nigeria, South Africa, and so on and so forth. So the reason why we are here today is to discuss the precautionary measures that we have put in place to making sure that tourists from outside come visit Africa. That is the basis of discussion today. How prepared is Kenya, Kenya destination, South Africa destination, Nigeria destination? So you and I are here today to let the world know that Africa can do it, to let the world know that Africa can rely on Africa. And I am a crusader that always say this is the time for Africa to promote Africa, to sell African destination. Enough of other European destination. Africa can leverage on tourism. God has so blessed us with many natural resources that we can sell to the outside world. We have wonderful hotels, we have wonderful beaches. I have been to several beaches in Africa, wonderful ones. So this is the time to promote domestic tourism in Africa, regional tourism in Africa, and Africa as a whole. So that is the basis of our discussion today. So thank you, Mr. Jeff. Thank you, Mr. Ivan, for bringing that up. And as we continue, I have one of my bosses here with us today in the person of Mr. Daisy Olotu. Mr. Daisy Olotu is the CEO, the chairman of this Travels and Tour Lagos, and also the chairman of this hotel located at the airport road, International Airport Road in Lagos. So my boss, Mr. Dicey, over to you. You have 5 minutes to tell us how prepared is this hotel? How prepared is this Travels and Tour to make sure that we promote Africa, to make sure that we develop domestic tourism in Nigeria? You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Coyote. And I say thank you very much for organizing like this. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to be talking about how prepared and who are we? I mean, we the proprietors of the hotels, and you know, with the back travel and the hotel business, but I want to talk about now. I'll break my discussion into 3. I'll be talking about the facility, I'll be talking about the people, and I'll be talking about the market. What do I mean by the facility? It's what we have on ground that shows our readiness if our guests. Okay, so in Nigeria, in Lagos, we have been given Lagos to place. So comes the new. What are those things? We are to, you see sanitizers everywhere in the hotel. From have hand wash with the hand dryer and sanitizer when you get to the entrance, where you check in, and you know, things like that. A lot of things we need to put in place fast. Talk about the people, about the staff that a new dawn now. All things it will change from the way so we need to train our staff. We need to know what the new normal is. New normal, in the new way we people in the restaurant, the staff in the bar will be quite different. So all the staff they need training in this, in this regard. Also, the market. There's a lot to be done too in terms of the market. The market, we have to train also our staff to ensure that the way we have been sending mail in the past, we have to gather more mails this time around because things are different. Things are changed. Send out personalized offer to customers because a lot of things seems to be online right now. We need to introduce new product, as in how do we service our clients even without them coming to the restaurant? How service them even in their homes without them. So there are a lot of things to be, to be discussed in that regard. So all these things are new to African market. They might not be new. A lot of people might have been doing it, but I want to tell you that in Nigeria, a new day in terms of service, how we service our guests. So when a guest come in now, there are a lot of protocols before check-in. It's like somebody who wants to go to the airport to go and fly. They've been advised to get for 3 hours, 4 hours before time, so that they can fulfill all the protocols before they could go and board. So by the grace of God, what we are trying to do is compile all our email list, and we can't just rely on the previous advertisement we've been doing. We have to now personalize mails to some of our customers to let them know some of the new services we have. So all these things I can tell you, if adhered to, will definitely increase the number of guests we have, and that shows the level of preparedness. So they must see a change. They must be able to adhere to the new normal. We need to inform our customers. We need to update them. We need to let them know exactly what is going on in terms of how you wash your hands. Some people might feel embarrassed when you tell them to, can you please wash your hand when you get to the hotel before you proceed to check in, and you dry your hands and you're giving sanitizers and all, and things like that. So a lot of people, we need to educate our staff to know how to address the customers, not to feel embarrassed to do all these things before checking, because those are things that has come to not leave us now until
hello. Mr. Dicey, are you still with us? Can you hear me out?
Yeah.
Can you hear me out?
Yeah, loud
Can
and
hear
clear.
you.
Okay, I think we lost Mr. Dicey. So he has made his point. He has made us to know that the queue at the airport at this period will take longer time. So as Africa, we should always advise our clients to get to the airport on time. No African time this time because COVID-19 pandemic has taught us great lesson. So we as a product provider, we should try as much as possible to educate and encourage our visitors on airport protocols. So I want to once again let us know that this Hotel International is a very brand new hotel located in Lagos, Nigeria. So we should endeavor to patronize them. It's African hotel, so let's patronize them. And I believe they will give us a very good rate. So when we get to question and answer section, Mr. Dicey will give answer to some of the questions that have been asked. I just spotted one of my friends who is part of us here today. Kojo, you are welcome on board. If you are listening to me, Kojo, I can see you. Kojo Ege, you are welcome on board. So without wasting our time, I will quickly go to the next person that is going to briefly talk to us. Regina, are you in the house, Regina?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Regina, oh, that's my friend from Rwanda. Regina is the CEO of Rwanda Eco Company in Kigali. I've met Regina like I think 3 times. He has hosted me. Regina has hosted my group in Kigali, and they all had a wonderful time when I travel with a group. And surprisingly, I organized another group early this year before the pandemic, and I couldn't go with them. I just gave the contact to Regina, and believe you me, my clients had a wonderful experience staying in Rwanda. So Regina, you are here. You have the floor. Tell us preparedness of your company and how you have prepared to promote Africa in this time of difficulty. Thank you.
Thanks so much for this important time. And then thanks so much for everyone who is here. I understand we are doing well, except this pandemic, which is very difficult to everyone. But here in Rwanda, also we're affected a lot with this pandemic because we are based on tourism, on our economy. You find many hotels were opening doors here in Rwanda. All of them, they were closed, of course. But in the preparation of the opening of the tourism, for now, the Rwanda has opened the tourism now for domestic, even for internationals, but who are coming with chartered flights. Of course, there's a small number of people are coming, but now they are enjoying our destination. Also, it is helping us to start starting the practicing those guidelines was we have the property like to the airport now, like social distancing, like using the sanitizers, like for hotels, like accepting those clients means everyone now is aware how to behave when he's handling the clients. At the time now we are having a few clients, but we are expecting if nothing change like next month, even to start accepting other clients with international business flights. So for national parks, so we have developed all the measures to serve clients while we are protecting against this COVID-19. Like there's hand sanitizer, the washing the station everywhere in the parks. Like also our tourism office has developed the guidelines for COVID-19, like how people are going to come in Rwanda, if they come, how we are going to handle them, if they arrive into the hotel, how the hotel is going to handle clients coming to the hotel, if after leaving the hotel with the tour company, how the vehicle will be like that. For example, now we use the safari cars, how many people will be in the safari cars. For example, are giving only 6 people in the safari car, so that there's a space. All of us, you know how safari cars they are converted So there is a free space in the middle, how people are going to sit in that safari car, very safe. So now we are practicing all those measures that have been developed by our Office of Tourism. So as a company also for Rwanda Eco Company Safari, you know, Rwanda has lifted the lockdown, like 1st May when the office, all the staff will return to the office. Now they know nowadays what to do. Just in case international movement, they are opened, clients are coming, how are we going to handle our clients? We are going to receive them to the airport. We are going to pass through the hotel. Are we going to help our clients even to understand the, of course, they understand the problem. You have also facilitated them to follow those guidelines. So the staff, the number one, to understand the guidelines so that they can facilitate clients. Apart of that, the meantime, as I was saying, we have reopened for tourism. You know, Rwanda is known for gorilla trekking experience, which is one of undisputable travel highlights in Africa. So to visit the primates, before we were having a fear maybe then the corona can be transmitted to the primates, but there is no research, of course, but now we are sure they are safe, 100%. But to make sure people who are going there, like nowadays we are receiving the tourists, they have at least coming with a test of COVID, means the negative test on arrival to the airport. Also, we do a second test to the client, which is results. They are available the next 8 hours, so the client can wait to one of the specified hotels, like as a transit. So, do you understand me? You are hearing? Hello?
Yes, we are with you.
Okay, thanks. So I'm saying now we have some transit hotels in those 80 hours. So that to make sure if you are opening for international travels, is it not going to be a big burden for us to handle clients? So now we are practicing with a few who are coming. So I can say the next month, the business will be, we have hope. It is not a conclusion that next month will be handling the business, but you have hope. And then you are ready when the international movement is opened. Like we are saying, we want to start with East Africa, so people they can first of all move around East Africa. We encourage also people to do domestic tourists for our destination. Means a Kenyan to visit Rwanda, Rwanda to visit Uganda, Uganda to visit Tanzania, like that. And then after we welcome others also to our destination, but while we are sure if someone decides to come to our destination, he will return without any consequence, means without affected by COVID. So we have already developed those kind of procedures, which we are already ready to accept those clients or international tourists. So
okay.
I wish. Sorry.
Thank you, Regina.
Okay, thank you so much.
At the comment section, somebody is asking a question that what is the name of your company? Are you a DMC?
Yes, of course, I'm a DMC, Rwanda Eco Company and Safari. It is a tours and a travel company based here in Kirgali, of course, offering the safaris all around Rwanda. So I'm a DMC. Yes.
Thank you so much, Regina. You have done justice to what we are talking about today. And once again, I want everybody to know that Regina's company, Rwanda Eco Company, is trusted and tested by me. So I'm recommending them. So let's start selling Africa. Okay. Let's start promoting ourselves. Thank you very much, Regina.
Thanks for so much. And then when you come back at Rwanda, of course, you want to see.
I will. As soon as the lockdown is over, you shall see me. Okay. So next person I'll be inviting now. We men have been talking, men. I want to give this chance to one of the female among us today. She's one of my sisters from another mother. Her name is Priscilla Keguru from Mburara Safari Lodge, Uganda. Priscilla, are you with us in the house? Priscilla.
Yes, yes I am.
You are welcome, my sister.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, I believe you have listened to other panelists talk, and you already know, you are aware of what we are discussing here today. We are talking of promoting Africa, Africa selling Africa, and the topic here today is what precautionary measure as you and your company put in place, and how prepared are you for African tourists, for the world tourists that will be coming visiting your Uganda through your company. So can you briefly tell us in 5 minutes? Thank you.
Okay, hi everybody. I realize we're in different time zones, so good morning, good afternoon. Today I'm representing Mburara Safaris, which is a DMC, but also owns one luxury lodge so far and is in the process of building 2 others. So we do have a farm lodge that has been open for over a year now, and we have reopened again. But before I say that, Jeff spoke earlier on and said we need to steer the direction because we are all aware about COVID. We are all aware that it's with us. Didier said we are not talking about post-COVID, we are talking about COVID because it's going to be with us for a long time, and I agree with that. Maybe what I'll say is, first of all, speak as a country. We've put all the measures in place. Our president has led a really good campaign against the COVID-19 pandemic. The fight has yielded some very good results. And then now what is being done is that all the border districts are being equipped with bigger facilities to be able to handle cross-border tourists. So we've not yet opened up again as a country, but we are going to open up indeed, and that gives us hope. But when we're going to speak about preparedness, as a property, we are prepared. As different properties have started opening up right now. And the government, of course, has its SOPs in place, and then each hotel will adapt that according to according to their property and how it's probably set up. So for the properties like ours that are spacious, Mburara Farm Lodge has only 27, it's a bit easier. But the other properties are opening slowly as they try to put the SOPs in place. But we are hopeful, and we've been having also discussions as Ugandan tour operators or people in tourism in Uganda to prepare ourselves for opening up. But before we do that, we are pushing, of course, domestic tourism, starting with Ugandans. Unfortunately, this is something that we had sort of ignored. We all tend to look at international tourism first. Now, I guess this is a lesson that we've learned. We're now doing campaigns domestically to Ugandans and also moving that out into the region. Because of course, once the borders open up, I anticipate East Africa will open up fast and spread out like that. So what are we doing to encourage our own regional tourists to start with before we speak to the rest of the world? What we must understand is we're dealing with a situation that is not going away. We have to realize this.
Can you check your mic? Your mic?
Yes, I think you can hear me now.
Yes.
Okay, so what I was saying is that we are dealing with a new normal. This is not going to go away anytime soon. So what we have to do is adjust our minds and our way of working to realize that, this is a situation we have to live with. We've had pandemics before, but this one has been worldwide. It has hit us all a bit hard. So what to do next is a discussion that we should be having. in terms of we realize the international tourists, normally we have different pricing policies, but can we now decide to have pricing policies for Africa? Something that can work for all of us. And also take into consideration the fact that the African tourist is different from the international tourists. Have we taken time to understand, for instance, what Nigeria wants, what a typical Nigerian wants, and then do something for them? Do we know what a Kenyan wants? Do we know what a Tanzanian wants? So we should be having that kind of conversation as well. And I want to thank my brother Ambassador for bringing us all together. I see we are quite a number of tour operators. And this is a good thing. I'm certain all of us are COVID-19 ready, should I say, or cautious, and have put things in place. So apart from that, how do we get out of this? Someone, I forget who, said we have to look at it like we're just starting the market. I think it was Jeff still. We just like a fresh leaf. So what do we do from now on? And yeah, that's the conversation I'd like to have. Otherwise, we are ready. Our farm lodge is ready. The new lodge that we are building in Kibale will be open in December. And the safari company is ready with the SOPs that Hussein spoke about, and the other two operators, limiting the numbers in the vehicles, providing sanitizers, ensuring masks, all those are in place. And as soon as the borders open, we're ready to receive you. So let's keep the conversation going.
Thank you. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you for that wonderful submission. There is something I got from your presentation. You gave an advice that it is time for us to tell ourselves what we really want. What do tourists from Kenya want in Nigeria? What do tourists from Nigeria want from Kenya, from Tanzania, from South Africa, from Uganda? Yes, this is one of the reasons why a webinar like this should keep going, so that we can understand ourselves better. Because I know that many of us here today, when we are called to talk about Dubai, to talk about London, to talk about New York, oh, we have loads of answers to that. But how much do we know about Africa, our own Africa? So if there is anything I learned from your presentation, is that simple word that says we should try to know more of ourselves. How much do we know about ourselves as Africa? So it is time for us to know our destination. When we know them, it will be very easy for us to sell, to market, to promote. Thank you for that wonderful submission. And I have somebody here that said he is looking forward to visiting your new lodge. I will be inviting you very soon to come and talk about your new lodge, and I will be glad to visit the lodge as well. Thank you very much, Priscilla, once again. And I will, at this point, hand over to Captain. Captain, are you with me?
Definitely, I am.
Captain, okay. I will be handing over to you to bring in the next panelist that will be talking to us today. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for a very good job you've done so far. And I was looking forward to bringing in the female speaker, but you beat me to that, because she probably is the only one we have today, except Miss Jovina is ready to talk. So do we have Miss Jovina, sir? Is she still going to talk?
She's not ready to talk. She's having a flu, so she's still trying to get herself. So maybe before the end of the webinar, she's going to join us. Mrs. Jovina supposes to represent Tiffany Diamond Hotel in Tanzania. As I earlier mentioned about Regina, I have visited Tiffany Diamond Hotel. They have a wonderful hotel in Tanzania, which I would want every one of us to as well patronize. But before the end of the webinar, maybe Jovina will be joining us. So I hand over to you to call the next person that is ready.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Coyote, for bringing this together. It's my honor, it's my pleasure to be moderating this first edition of the TPM Consulting Tourism Plus webinar alongside you. Next female speaker that I am going to be inviting to the floor, and let me quickly inform our participants that very shortly we will be engaging your questions. The chat room is very busy. Questions have been coming in on all the destinations. So I want all my panelists to stay with me because there are questions for you in the chat room, which I'm going to be dishing out to you as it concerns you immediately. All our speakers have spoken. I think we have, after the next speaker now, we have maybe 1 or 2 more speakers, and then we are probably going to wrap up this webinar in about 30 minutes time. So without wasting any further time, let me bring on from Eastern Africa once again, Madam Priscilla Kengure, who is in charge at Mburara Safari Farm Lodge of Uganda. Priscilla.
Sorry, Captain Priscilla just presented.
She was the one who presented?
Yeah, that's the last person that presented.
I missed the surname, Kenguru. Okay, she is Kenguru. I get that. Do we have Mr. Edwin? I haven't found Mr. Edwin on the panel, sir. Is he with us from Uganda?
Edwin is not with us. Timothy is with us.
Okay. So, Mr. Timothy, can we have you very, very fast? 5 minutes. Probably you are the last speaker on the panel. Mr. Timothy is also from Uganda, and he is in charge at Trekking Timi, Kampala. Mr. Timothy, you have the floor if you are in the house.
Hello. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we appreciate to have your video also.
Thank you. Yeah, Timothy is my name from Uganda. I salute everyone here.
Can we have your video, Timothy? Can you have your video on?
Let me check it out once again.
Your video, thank you. Yes.
That's much better.
I like your beautiful face.
Yeah, well, Trekking Team is my name, and I do themed walks here in Kampala. I also do wildlife safaris between Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. Very interesting topics has been mentioned. I will be very brief on this, and I would just like to make a flip of all that's been mentioned. Yeah, I remember Susan, Jeff have all mentioned things about trainings. Something exciting I haven't heard from many of the panelists talking about today is something about virtual tourism, where we can apply cameras, photos, and excite locals or even anyone abroad and within Africa of what we do. I've realized that if people do good research and can give a virtual video and share experiences, probably they will even excite more people to come. So right now, what we're trying to do here is we're preparing and getting lots of information and trying to make up all these kind of video clips, which we can share amongst each other. Because I think even the first market we have is we who are just right here on this webinar right now. Yeah, about also domestic tourism has just been mentioned by Priscilla, so I won't go back into that. Also have been other challenges that I should also mention. I don't know how you are managing, but right now, because we cannot tell the extent and time when COVID will come to an end, many companies are struggling financially, economically, to pay off taxes. I will personally say, like here in Uganda, you may find companies are paying up to 25 taxes in different spheres. That it could be the pay as you earn, National Social Security Fund, and many other taxes that we have. So the agencies, the Tour Operators Association is also trying to work with government to find ways in which they can have some of these things waived or reschedule loans and see how best we can help each other. Also, it's time for creating good credit lines with the development banks to find out how best we can again manage to market and budget going forward. I won't say much. I'll have only that to say. Probably on the flip side of everything as well, I could like to talk about sports, because here we do lots of sports as well, and I sell a lot of that, like motorsports. And interestingly, today is, what I can say is, if a traveler is within the country, like what you're saying, domestic tourism, and we've gone out in the fields, we are kind of already giving each other distance. So I think there could be some opportunities that we can all learn amongst each other and see how best we can promote our businesses. I find, like, if you go out for rally, or if you're out in the field to do a trek in the forest, there's really low risk as far as COVID is concerned. That's my presentation, and thank you so much.
All right. Do we have
Thank you, Timothy. Yeah, Captain.
Yes, boss.
Captain, are you with me? Okay, yeah, I just spotted one of the panelists for today who is with us in the house, in the person of Mr. Jabir Zanzibar from Munda Travels in Zanzibar, Tanzania. Mr. Jabir, are you with us? Can you unmute yourself? Your mic is muted. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Yeah. President, do you hear me?
Yes, yes, live and clear.
Yeah, okay. How are you all?
We are all fine, sir. You are welcome. I believe you have listened to other panelists talk, and you are so much aware of what we are discussing here today. So, Mr. Jabir, you have the floor. I want you to tell us your preparedness, how your company have prepared to welcome Africans to various destinations you have in Zanzibar. You have the floor now, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed, President. To mention the contact is Jabir from Monde Africa Tours and Safaris here in Zanzibar. DMC that is quite long. Unfortunately, most of my points has been taken by the guy from Diani, coast of Kenya. That's hygienical in travel and tourism industry has been located for the years now. So about the hygienical, there is no question about. We are all prepared, and luckily, fortunately, Zanzibar has never been, Zanzibar in Tanzania has never been in lockdown. All the activities went on up to now, and we don't, our president don't consider to do any lockdowns. All measures for staying safe are taken into very very high examination, and we are all equipped as Monda Tours, as the island at large. So the ball is just yours, our fellow Africans, Nigerians, Kenya, South Africans, Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, of course, and other places. The ball is yours now to come back. As you know, we miss all our guests, clients, visitors, colleagues for quite long now. And the economic situation for tour operators has been in vain for quite long also. But the one thing which is very important is to know that we need surely to connect Africans' domestic tourism. And how we need to connect this is that instead of focusing on American and Europe, we'll have to forget about that. Because if now American is banned to visit Europe, you should consider that the next is to say that don't go to Africa anyway. I don't say, but that is the way we are thinking. So the main point now is to see our brothers and sisters from Africa traveling each another destination. Nigeria to Zanzibar, Zanzibar to Nigeria, Kenya to Nigeria, as it has been before. But the main point now is to discuss with the Home Affairs to release the visa upon arrival instead of a referred visa like for Nigerians. It's very difficult for them to travel to Zanzibar or Tanzania because they should have referred visa, something which again give us the barrier of what we are focusing. So the WHO and all nationalities standard measure for safety hygienical protocol is at stake in any country. The main things we should focus in discussing how we should revive the domestic tourism in Africa. So I think we need to exchange views as well as feeding each other with the necessary information on how we can now to make sure that we have volume of the domestic tourism from all over the Africa now. All my points has been taken over by my fellow from East Africa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jabir. You have just 30 seconds more to wrap it up. Mr. Jabir, you have 30 seconds to wrap it up. We want to move into the Q&A session immediately. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'm almost over, so you can take over the podium. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Jabir, for your submission and a powerful, powerful presentation out here. I want to appreciate every one of us, all our panelists and speakers that has contributed on this webinar today. And once again, thank you very much, Ambassador Kayode Adeshola of TPMConsulting TourismPlusNG for bringing this up. Mr. Dicey, yes, I have questions for you actually in the chat room. So I was planning to bring you on already.
Thank you.
So, but before you go ahead, let me just throw some of the questions that I have for you here so you can actually respond appropriately. Okay. The chat room is actually very busy, so I have to scroll down and get the question for you because I won't come back to you again. I wanted to drop your response and at the same time respond to these questions. Okay. All right. Someone is saying, okay, Mr. Mustafa is one asking how to contact you for your hotel rates. And then Mr. Jeff wants to have more information about your contact information and your property. Mr. Ahmed also is interested in your hotel brand. So I think you need to just tell us in 2 minutes what your hotel brand is doing right now and how they can connect with you. You have 2 minutes and every other panel member have 2 minutes to respond to the questions that have been dropped by our participants today. Mr. Dicey, go ahead now.
Thank you very much. The name of my hotel is These Hotels, Apartments and Suites. We have rooms. It's a business hotel. We're very close to the airport. We have 42 rooms and we have 4 suites and we have 3 pool view apartments. So we have a website, www.thestravels.com. at thesehotels.com. You can check us out on our website. We're just 10 minutes drive from the airport. And we have meeting rooms of different sizes. We have the one that can accommodate 80 people. We have the one that can accommodate 60. And of course, we have a very big swimming pool side where we could host parties and events. Thank you very much. So I'm going to put my website on the chat where you can see and our contacts. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Daisiolo too. You can also get the contact of all our panelists and speakers today because they are not allowed to drop their personal details, or you can get them by sending us an email to tpmconsulting01@gmail.com or tourismplusng@gmail.com. And we have dropped that particular contact email on the platform. So, the next question here is actually for Mr. Mohammed. So, Mr. Mohammed,
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes, ever ready.
Okay, so someone is asking, how did you get the rates for your hotel? And that what's your rate going to be like, looking at the fact that African destinations can be very expensive. So is that going to be an incentive? And then what's your rate looking like post COVID-19? You have the floor, Mr. Mohammed.
Yes, actually, we have worked a lot with the hotels and government and DTCM. They have given us a best rate. Keeping in mind, because of this precautions, cost of everything will go up. Suppose when we are picking anybody from the airport, so it means 2% can be in a car. So the cost of the car will be divided into two. Before 5 people can be there, 6 people can be there in a car. Okay. So keeping in mind, we have up to now we have done a good job with the good promotions from the hotels, and we already have our online portal also from where people can buy direct hotels and all the services worldwide. So our rates are very compatible, and till now we are able to beat, and people will not face and will not come to know that our rates are very high. Rates are same as before or lower than that.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. The next question is for Travel Destinations Online. This question is from Felicia Irobe of First Pan Travels and Tours. So Travel Destinations Online, the question here is, how much will it cost if a tourist is tested positive of COVID in Dubai? How much is it going to cost to treat this particular tourist? Because I think this person is concerned about informing the tourist ahead that in case they get tested positive in Dubai, how much is it going to cost and how much they have to pay. Travel Destinations Online.
Yes, as I have as I have mentioned before, that if anybody will test it positive, so the airline is not going to allow them to fly from their destination. First of all, but even I have mentioned that if they will be positive, but they will not have any symptoms, as per WHO, if anybody have a positive but they don't have a symptoms, so they are, it means it is not transferable to other people. So in that case also they will not go for quarantine. But if positive is due to the symptoms when they are going to arrive in Dubai, so before to get the visa, we need one declaration form which is already provided to our all partners today from the government, which they have to fill. Then only visa will be applied. In the declaration form, it is clearly mentioned all the terms and conditions by the immigration and Dubai government, that if on their arrival they will be found positive with the symptoms, then they have to go to quarantine. And the quarantine, we already have rates for the quarantine hotels, because all the hotels are not for the quarantine. We have received from the government, and it is not so high. It is same as a normal room per night. It is not a
Okay,
huge
thank you
amount.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed and Travel Destinations Online. I'd like to take this very interesting question. There are so many questions in the chat room, but because of time, I won't be taking all. And I'll be calling on two panel members to respond to this question. And I'll go first with Madam Susan, and then Didier, I'll come back to you on this question. This question is from a participant joining us from Nigeria here, and is Dare Adigun, and it's such a fantastic question. So he is asking that what are the actual plans and scope of work to promote African destination? And he is saying that which organization are we going to hold accountable for all these conversations about promoting Africa? And he is requesting specifically for you, Madam Susan, to respond, to weigh in Nigeria, which particular association or body, is it the MTDC or NANTA, who are we going to hold accountable? Because according to this particular participant, we have a lot of talk on promoting Africa, but we should hold a particular body accountable for promoting of African destinations. Madam Susan, you have the floor now. And Didier Baye, you are next after Madam Susan.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. That question is quite an interesting one. There was something they said, we've been talking about this for a long time and nothing is being done. I have a different opinion about that. You know, my sister Priscilla said something that we have ignored traveling within our country and Africa as a whole for a very long time, but COVID has opened our eyes to that. So it's not something we've been talking about. Really, we've not been talking about it because we've been too busy doing the international and doing all that. So, but COVID now is now making us talk. So this is the first time we're actually talking to ourselves on looking inward and pushing the continent Africa, doing business among ourselves. Then on the aspect of and also for us in Nigeria, actually, I've been invited to be part of a project that wants to do this. No, enough talk. What is the concept of the project? It's called Niger Wonders. Niger Wonders, the Nigerian wonders, the wonders we have in our country, Nigeria. And what is the basis behind this project? We've been doing a lot of internal talking amongst ourselves. And this time around, the project has to do with practicalizing all the talk. Now, we know we have beautiful places in Nigeria. Of course, quite a few of them we have been marketing, we have been selling, we have been promoting, but we realize that the promotion is not enough because one of the issues we have in Nigeria is not lack of where to go to. Our major issue is promotion. Fine, the security issue, somebody asked earlier about security. The security issues, it's general. And we are already working with state government on that. Some states that are embracing domestic tourism have risen up to the challenge of security, and they have taken the issue of security sorted out in their state. So what we intend to do, because we also know security is key for us. So like Mohammed earlier said, if he all the way in Dubai is promoting Nigeria and Africa as a destination, what excuse do I have as a Nigerian and as an African?
Can you imagine?
To not to do the same thing. So that's what the project Niger 7 Wonders is all about? Well, it's called Niger 7 Wonders because of the very first one they did. This is season 2 of the project. I would want to call it Niger Wonders because the wonders of Nigeria is more than 7. And since this project started, we found out that we have identified much more destinations that it's unbelievable. I mean, to me, I was like, wow. On our chat group, somebody just posted the highest waterfalls in Africa. And it's in Plateau State, and posted the picture. So what are we doing? What is this project all about? We want to practice what we preach. We are identifying those locations, and immediately the borders are open. We want to be the first ambassadors to these locations. Once we visit the locations, what are we checking? We're checking the readiness of the location. We're checking security. We're checking the readiness of the state government. I mean, the government of the state where the location is. So once we check all these and the things, if the location is perfect, ready for selling, if it still needs 1 or 2 things to be done, all those things we will put into account. Then, of course, it will be presented to the state government. And if they're ready, we will work with them. It talked about who are the regulators. Definitely, sure. We will need somebody to be regulating what we are doing. It's actually the job of NTDC, the Nigerian Tourism Corporation. That's their job. We are all registered under them. Of course, as this project is going on, we will do our own part of it as the operators and as the people that is more passionate about these things. So once we do our own, we're going to present it to the regulator, which is NTDC in this aspect of tourism. We will present it to the regulator. We will have ample discussion with the regulator. This is what we want to do. And after the regulator has looked at what we have done and they have embraced it, we will push it further and start talking with the with IT companies, those that are into promotion of destinations and all that. How do we, because packaging is very key. I can get something that does not mean anything, but by the time I finish with the packaging, everybody wants to come and identify with it. So we have known that this is what we need to do. Packaging, promotion is key. The sites are not the problem. We have them in abundance. I mean, we have sites that can become wonders of the world, that has the ability to enter Guinness Book of Records. Yes, we have such sites in Nigeria. Promotion has just been our issue. So that is what this project, Niger 7 Wonders, Niger Wonders, I would say, because there are more than 7. Niger Wonders is engaging it. And once it's done, we are in, this is season 2. Once we are done, there will be an official launching of our findings. And once this is done, of course, the launching of our findings, then of course, we get the tour operators, the travel agents. We'll work with them, closely with them, to be sure that they come up with the right package. Because packaging is another thing. The right package. We look at the package they come up with. So, and once this is done, it will be submitted to the regulator, which is NTDC, because we must carry them along. It will be submitted to NTDC. And once NTDC okays it, we are good to go. We get the IT company involved and we start pushing it out there. Like my sister Priscilla said, we are also at that point in Nigeria because we have ignored ourselves so long. Now we are also looking inwards and trying to make sure Nigerians embrace traveling within Nigeria. That is something that, just like Priscilla said, we have also been guilty of. We have been guilty of. I've been practically everywhere in the world, but there are so many places I've not been to Nigeria. I'm also guilty of that. But thank God for COVID-19. We are all making a U-turn. We are all resolved to make a difference. And that is where we are at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Susan. I am tempted to not stop you because I know you can go on and on, but time is not our friend. And I want to also bring in, because this question looks like the most sensitive question on this platform this afternoon. If not for time, I will have given each of our panel members the opportunity to respond to that question. Madam Susan, you have told us that for Nigeria, NTDC is a body to hold accountable.
Oh, sorry, guys.
So now, for you,
sorry, guys,
Didi Baye, you and I have hosted the TBS COVID-19 recovery webinars. We had an Africa Day webinar, which you were instrumental in bringing all the CEOs of African tourism boards. All of them were there. And there were participants requesting that how are we going to follow up on promoting Africa? If you remember very well, the last TBS webinar that we were talking about hospitality and hotels, this same question came up again. That are we just going to be a talking continent, or are we planning to take action? Didier, for you, not only a South African-based destination management expert, but also a Pan-African tourism promoter, who are we going to hold accountable at the African level, at the continent level, for promoting Africa to Africans? Didier, you have the floor, and I'll just give you 3 minutes to do that talk. Time is not our friend, Didier.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate the 8 minutes you've given me.
I know 3 minutes is not enough for you, Didier.
All right. Look, first of all, I would start by saying, as for accountability, I will hold each and every one of us accountable when it comes to this. As an African tourism expert, and also as a Pan-Africanist, we always push and stand for the cause of Africa, intra-Africa, open sky, travel within Africa. At some point, it seemed like we were singing into deaf ears. But now, if there is a time to implement that, this is the best time. Many people called me to ask me, Mr. Didier, did you hear what has been published? Did you hear European Union published the list of countries that should travel to Europe, and that exclude Africa, except 2 airports, one in Egypt and then one in the Western Cape in South Africa, which is Cape Town. How come? Because Cape Town holds the highest number of confirmed cases of COVID-19. 60% of the country is in Cape Town. And you know, and that's another politics that we cannot develop right now. But I was laughing. I'm not surprised. Captain Emmanuel and many more other trade partners, you'll understand from the beginning, I kept asking the same question. What if the rest of the world decided to extend their lockdown for much longer? What do we do? Do we sit and wait until they decide to travel again into Africa? That is why I'm saying there is nobody to be held accountable, but each and every one of us. Why? The second reason why I'm not shaken is that when we look at the number in terms of monetary value, Africans contribute towards the development of tourism outside the African boundaries. There is a massive, big number to grow Africa. There is business for every business represented here and more, from aviation, road transport, accommodation, lodges, resorts, game park, theme park, casinos, you name it all. And we have all it takes to make tourism work. So what we need to do, the accountability to each and every one, is to make sure right now, some are scratching themselves, feeling sorry for themselves that Europe doesn't allow a flight into Africa yet. But if they believe is that Europe needs to travel in Africa for Africa to benefit or to see tourism progressing, I would say this such person is into the wrong sector, wrong place, at the wrong time, at every time. So what we need to do is to push, advertise. I did write something there on the comment saying that any person that wants to know any destination in Africa, you can contact us. Any country that you want to sell. We need to push this. One thing that I need to consider, I agree with Mr. Mohammed that few factors will change the cost, such as in terms of observing the social distances. A car that could take 2, 3, 4 people now will have to take maybe one person, unless this is a couple. Yes, but those that did adjust their rate of their properties because of the euro value or the US dollar value, or because they also offer international brand, such as beverage, imported brand of beverage in range of beverage, they might need to readjust into local, because now the business, the market will be African targeted market. I always repeat, in 2018, Africa had contributed over $350 billion across the world outside Africa, from airline accommodation, meals, transport, attraction, shopping, and all that. That is a lot of money to put Africa in the right place. What makes, ideally, this is just a thought. I want to drive us quickly into a thought. What makes European Union to close some part of the world not to travel? First of all, they've maximized to open now despite high numbers of confirmed COVID-19, because of this is their peak time, the summer holidays. They want to maximize on tourism. Secondly, they depend more, first of all, on their member state, European Union. They contribute so much when they travel within themselves. So this is just to show that we can make it better without the rest of the world. Not that we don't contribute, but as Africa, we need to have this in mind. Sell more destinations. We have 54 countries. Guys, you can't advertise 54 destinations. Pick what suits you. Every destination, the biodiversity in Africa, it's out of this world. No other continents gather in one continent what Africa has as potential in terms of tourism. Some places are not even exploited, discovered yet. So discover new countries, discover new cities, new region, discover. So while we're pushing this, I can tell you, why am I seeing this as an opportunity? Because of African countries that still have locked boundaries with unnecessary visa regulations. In our engagement with them, every country is now saying, yes, we need to make it easier for people to be able to access. We need to really to make easy the visa requirements, either visa on arrival or no visa at all. So this is the time, together as trade partners, together as one body in tourism, we can drive this, we can push this, and we can make it happen. When people want to travel for holiday, people want to travel for business, people want to travel for diverse reasons, different types of reason or sporting events. Now, all these reasons, when we go into tourism development and the subsectors, we have all this in the African continent. So that is why we're saying that we're holding each and everyone accountable, because you are responsible, I'm responsible to make tourism work in this African continent, which is our motherland. So we are able and we can make it happen. This is why I'm holding each and every one of us accountable. Thank you.
DJ Baye. And you know, I like to give you 3 minutes because I know you're going to spend more than that. But that is actually a very powerful response. I wasn't expecting that coming from you. All of us are going to be held accountable. We should hold ourselves accountable for promoting Africa for Africans. Participants and panelists this afternoon, it is such an awesome session. I can't just but appreciate the ingenuity of Ambassador Kayode of TPM Consulting for bringing this up this afternoon. At TBS Africa, you know, we have been clamoring for this. In fact, you're going to have to join myself and DJ Baye once again today, this afternoon by 3 p.m. because we are focusing on African destinations on the TBS Africa webinars. And today we're going to be picking on Mauritius. But time is not on our side. I would have loved every panel members to respond to this issue of accountability. every DMC, every hotel, every attraction. Can you imagine where Didier to this conversation? 54 countries in Africa. Look at the enormous amount that we are contributing to Europe and other continents. Imagine we have this same $5 billion traveling and circulating within Africa. Definitely, we are going to be the beauty of the world. And then on this note, I would like to appreciate every one of you for having taken time to be on this panel. Before I hand over to Ambassador Kayode to take the panelists' remarks, which we're going to be doing in maybe just 60 seconds for each of the panel members. I would like to once again appreciate the panel members on behalf of myself, Captain Emmanuel Great, and TBS Africa. And I want to say that I'll be inviting you again to join us on this discussion. At TBS Africa, we want to go more into details. We want to take it one by one. We are going to be looking at individual destinations. We are starting today with Mauritius. Mr. Jeff has reached out to me saying that I should definitely put Diani. Diani is on the bucket list for Kenya. We are coming to South Africa. We are going to be bringing all the African destinations. We are looking at 6 regions: Northern Africa, Western Africa, Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, and even Central Africa. We are starting with the African islands. So we're going to do Mauritius, we're going to do Seychelles, then we are coming back to every African destination. This is going to be a 4-month consecutive webinar every Thursday, 3 p.m. The link is in the chat room. Connect on that link, register, and join me and Didier Baye, my very own Pan-African tourism expert, who is actually, he has declared his intention. Let me quickly use that opportunity to say this on behalf of Didier. Didier has, indicated interest to run for African Union position, and TBS Africa, we have actually told him he has all our support. And this is part of me, advocating for Didier. Didier is a Pan-African tourism expert. He loves Africa so much. You can see the passion with which he speaks about Africa. I also want to appreciate Madam Susan. Madam Susan is our icon here in Nigeria. And on the TBS webinar, Madam Susan launched the Tourism Africa project. And if not for time, I will have asked her to throw it to the panel. She wants everyone all over Africa to do a 2-minute video of your tourist attraction in wherever you are in Africa and send it all over social media. We have to write our own story in Africa with our own pen. And on this note, join me to welcome, having invited all of you to the TBS Africa this afternoon. The link is in the chat room. Make sure to register. Let me give the floor now to our host for today, my very own friend and boss and partner in the tourism industry, a domestic tourism promoter, and also, you might not know, the vice president of NANTA for Abuja, Nigeria, Ambassador Kayode Adeshola. The floor is yours for panelist remarks. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Captain Emmanuel. And I want to thank every one of us once again for taking our time to talk about Africa, to talk about our home, to talk about our heritages, to talk. I know right now that our African forefather will be happy of what we are just doing now. This is what we should have been doing.
That's very interesting, sir.
Yeah, before now, the Nnamdi Azikiwe, all our African leaders in Africa that have suffered to strive to make sure that Africa came to be.
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela, yes. Wherever they are now, I know they will be happy with us, with what we are doing now. So let's keep it up. As we round up, I will want each of the panelists to just give us their closing remark as we end this session for today. Thank you very much. I'll be starting with DJ. In 30 seconds, your closing remark. Then Mr. Ivan should get ready. Thank you.
Well, great. Okay, my closing remarks is that we are in the situation to change the narrative. When everybody out there might think that they've locked Africa out, they should actually be surprised to realize that Africa has locked them inside their own.
Yes, good one.
That is my closing remark. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Didier. Mr. Ivan.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yes, on point.
Yes.
Ivan.
Yes. Actually, first of all, I have a suggestion for my African all partners, all countries. See, every person is an ambassador when we are going from one country to another country. Okay.
Yes.
So actually, first of all, we have to avoid attitude of each other, and we have to forget the differences. Then only we can be a good partners for African in different we can. And my one of the important point is, like when we are going from Nigeria to Kenya, we have to get the visa to arrive on Kenya. Same processes for all the countries. Now we have to work, especially tourism board of all the countries have to work very closely with the immigration of their respective countries, how to overcome this issue. Then only we can do more and more business together. Otherwise, we will be doing our homework, and the end, because of the visas from the immigrations, we will not able to execute.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ivan, for that remark.
And last point, I will appreciate, and I am trying to do this from a long time.
Okay.
I want African countries to do road shows in our countries.
Okay.
Like we are doing in your countries.
Good.
Because seeing is believing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's true.
We have to work on the road shows. Especially, I'm from Pakistan also. I want a road show to be started from Pakistan, then to Dubai, then to Bahrain, and all my destinations. I want to have a road show of Africa.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ivan. That's a very good remark. We are going to surely work on it. I know DD has taken it as a point, and with other stakeholders, we are going to embark on that very soon. Madam Susan, your closing remark.
Oh, yes, my closing remark, 30 seconds. I'm going to borrow from my brother Didier. Yes, what I'm going to say is nobody, I repeat, nobody is going to blow your trumpet better than you. So it's time for us to take responsibility, personal responsibility. Each time I talk about Nigerian domestic tourism, I do not point accusing fingers to anybody but myself. And why I do that is because I am trying to challenge myself to take responsibility for the level in which our tourism is today, because my colleagues and everybody in Nigeria were so quick to blame the government. I know they have their problems. Believe you me. I mean, I know if you engage me personally and you talk to me, I will let you know that I know the government has their problems. But come on, as long as we keep blaming somebody else, we will never move forward. We will never take that step. So I would rather want to blame myself and take a personal responsibility to make a U-turn and begin to promote domestic tourism. That's my closing remark. Let us begin to take responsibility. Let's rise up to the challenge. If truly we want to make Africa the next best thing. I usually say, I have a dream that one day Africa will rise up to be the world economy. And that cannot be done if we do not take personal responsibility for our continent, Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my president. Africans should take responsibility. That's a very good point. Priscilla Kenguru, over to you. Your closing remark.
Okay, mine is the same message I'd given earlier on. Can everyone hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear.
We have a continent that everyone is trying to run to now. Africa is very blessed with culture and beauty and diversity. So if we organize ourselves well enough, the market that we have here is enough for all of us. So let's start speaking to each other. Let's learn about Africa. We live in Africa, we don't know about Africa. Let's learn about it and promote tourism on the continent. International tourism will follow. So thank you for that, and keep the conversation going. I'll be happy to be part of the next panel you organize.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. I move on to Mr. Jeff Mokowe. Mr. Jeff, can we just have your closing remarks, sir? Your mic, sir. Your mic is off, sir. Your mic is muted, Mr. Jeff.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just to pick up from what Priscilla said, her closing remarks, let the conversation continue. I just want to throw a few things in your direction in the 30 seconds that I have. One, Uganda is Kenya's second largest source market. I'll say that again. Uganda is Kenya's second largest source market. Number one is the US, Uganda is number two. East Africa, through the East African Tourism Platform, we have fought for many years, and right now we have it such that you have one tourist visa coming into East Africa. That is the countries of Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda. I think Tanzania is not in yet, but if I'm right, I stand to be corrected. Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, one tourist visa. You come into any one of these countries, you get a tourist visa. You don't need a tourist visa going into any one of the other countries. Okay, I'm saying this because the conversation has started. All of us here are influencers. We can make the right noises. As Susan says, we need to make the right noises to the right people. I will close by saying this. The Kenya Ministry of Tourism, led by our Minister, Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala, who is also the President of UNWTO, has made it policy right now that Kenya, going forward, on the Kenya Tourism Board, will target Africa. That has become our major target. Okay, so we are already making steps. Didier, fantastic passion. I love that. Susan, Priscilla, all of us here, we need to take this forward. This cannot stop now, because I can tell you, as a property that I run, we have made a lot of money just from Africa. We've been going to Uganda every year. That's how I met Priscilla, Edwin, all the guys from Uganda. Rwanda, Ethiopia has been great markets for us. It is there. If Africans can travel all over the world and spend the amount of money that Didier talked about, we can travel within Africa, guys. It's up to us to make it happen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jeff. Mr. Jeff just mentioned something that his company has made a lot of money selling Africa. That is a good point for us. Let's embrace that. It's time for us to promote Africa and not just doing that, and also to make money. Thank you, Mr. Jeff. Timothy, are you ready? Timothy, 30 seconds. Timothy. Is Timothy there? Regina, are you ready? Hello? Regina. Regina. Okay, do I have Mr. Dicey Olotu for closing remark?
Hello, yes.
Go on, sir.
Hello.
Mr. Dicey, go on, sir.
Hello.
Go on, sir. You have the floor, sir.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, hello, sir. You have the floor, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. So there's no one-size-fits-all in hospitality. So
can you hear yourself?
Takes display. in hospitality and the travel sector. Okay, so hello. I said the information that we have shared today, hopefully, we'll be able to adapt. Okay, adapt it to our environment and situation, because our environment and situation is quite different from the European, the Western world. So I hope we'll be able to adapt and adapt with it and run with it and move on, so that we'll be able to improve on security and a lot of things that will improve on people to visit our country. Thank you very much. And thank you,
sir. Thank you, sir. Hussein, are you here with us?
Yes.
Over to you, Hussein.
Yeah, thank you guys for this opportunity. I think this is a very good platform to work together as stakeholders in the industry in Africa and taking Africa to the next level. I mean, yeah, we've always been depending on the international tourism, but Africa, as Jeff mentioned, we have clients who've been traveling to Kenya from say different African regions. Uganda being our second highest source market, which is such a great opportunity for all our countries to work together. Yeah, so we're looking forward to welcoming you to Magical Kenya very soon, and of course sending our clients from Kenya to other parts of Africa. Asante sana. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jabir Zanzibar. Jabir Zanzibar. Your closing remarks, sir. Mr. Jabir. I can see you. Mr. Jabir. Is Regina ready? Regina Timothy. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I want to lastly appreciate every one of us. I can see my brother, Mr. Shegu Akomo. Thank you very much. And every one of us that has participated today, all the participants, thank you. The panelists, the guests, I really appreciate you. I want to assure you that we shall keep it up and make sure that we together as stakeholders put Africa on top. Africa is the next destination for the whole world to embrace, to visit. So we shall be doing all possible to make sure that we promote Africa together. This is a goal that the pandemic has set for us, and we don't have any other option than to embrace it. It is an eye-opener for all of us as Africa to know the value that Africa has, to know what our forefathers bestowed as given to us that we have over the years neglected. This is the time to come back home as prodigal son and embrace our heritage, promote our culture to the outside world. Thank you once again, everybody. And very soon, we shall be inviting you again. I remain your very own person in the business of travel, tourism, and hospitality. Thank you once again, everybody. And we shall be seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Have a
wonderful
Ambassador.
day.
Thank you, my DJ. Thank you, Mr.
Thanks,
Jeff.
Kenya. Thanks, Uganda. Thanks, Tanzania. Thanks, Nigeria. Thanks, Ghana.
Nigeria.
Madam Susan.
Uganda, Rwanda.
You still owe me my pepper soup.
Africa will come back.
Africa will rise again. Up Africa.
Amanda.
See you later today by 3.
See you later today, yes.
Thank you, ma.
Madam Tinuke, I see you. I greet you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma.
I like your chair.
Hi, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
I'm doing well, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you,
president,
everybody.
Chief Abiodun Odusowo, thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Now you guys can exit.
Yeah.
See you later.
Now you can
See
leave
you at
my
3.
house.
Bye. Thank
Yeah,
you.
3. Let's meet by 3 as well. Kojo, thank you, Kojo. Thank you for coming on board.
Hi, Kojo. See you later, Kojo.
Thank you.
Esther,
Thanks
thank
for being
you.
there. Those of
Joyce,
East Africa,
thank
we
you.
say Asante Sana.
Thank you. Kate, thank you. Diana, Lilia Thomas, Anderson, Elizabeth.
In Angola, we
So
say
you can get a
God.
replay of this webinar on the YouTube link that was shared on the platform. So the replay is available on YouTube.
Thank you. I can see you.
Make sure you check it out.
Nazabo, thank you. Ibikemi Adefolu, thank you. Anderson, thank you. Limas, thank you. Peace, Iyare, thank you. Memona Dabo, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate your participation, sir. My own Ike, Marius, the Marius International, thank you very much. Reynald Sodende, thank you very much. Oga Reynald, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. God bless you, sir. Toluwalope Ola, thank you. Thank you. Martha, thank you. Anderson, thank you. Ibikemi, thank you. Regina, I appreciate you, my brother. My brother on Galaxy A50, thank you, sir.
Yeah, let me quickly say hello to some members of the TBS, Madam Toluwalope and Mrs. Olatuji. Thank you all, guys. Reynald Shodende, thank you very much. I hope you understand what TBS is all about. Thank you for reaching out to us at Tourism Business Success.
TBS.
Join us again.
TBS.
Yes, sir.
We will need to meet with Mr. Reynolds. We need to work with him.
All right.
It shows that he's so passionate about tourism. So we need to meet with him.
That's very well noted. And definitely we'll connect with him. Collaborations and partnering is the way to go, especially during this time. So, Mr.
Yes.
Reynolds, join us again 3 p.m. to focus on Mauritius as an African destination.
Baba Shege, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Baba Shege, thank you, sir.
Michelle, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. TPM Consulting, with your permission, we can end the meeting now. Permission. Let me know.
Permission granted.
All right. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Don't forget to connect with Consulting and Tourism by sending an email to TourismPlusNG@gmail.com. We are ready to collaborate and partner. TPM Consulting and Tourism Plus NG is ready to work with all passionate travel, tourism, and hospitality lovers. So reach out to Ambassador Sake or send an email to tourismplusng@gmail.com or tpmconsulting01@gmail.com. Thank you all and see you this afternoon, 3 p.m. Bye for now.